360 MD Sanjay Gupta has been reporting about a crisis of epidemic proportions, the scourge of AIDS in Africa. The AIDS virus is also infecting the most vulnerable of Africa's people, the children. Most of them will succumb to the disease, and just a few are lucky enough to get the proper care. Sanjay Gupta reports from Kenya with tonight's World in 360.
He's a priest from Providence, Rhode Island. But for more than 13 years, Father Angelo D'Agostino, known as Father Dag, has watched over the orphans of Africa's AIDS epidemic here in Nairobi, Kenya.
It's unbelievable work, and obviously a lot of people will watch and say it's just remarkable that there's people like you. But how did you get inspired to do it in the first place?
No, inspiration was a matter of necessity.
Father Dag trained as an Air Force surgeon before becoming a Jesuit priest, and later became a psychiatrist, one of the first psychoanalyst priests in the history of Roman Catholicism. But nothing could truly prepare him, or anyone, for this. In the cruel logic of AIDS, many of these children are not just orphans. They too are infected with the virus. And in a world of limited resources, that means tough choices. The children living in Father Dag's orphanage get antiretroviral drugs, or ARVs, life-saving drugs to fight off AIDS. And with limited supplies, most of the other children in his care that he sees through the outreach program get no medicine. Just 15 minutes from here, the Nyambani orphanage houses 94 children with HIV, all of them living seemingly happy and healthy lives. But this is the stark reality for more than 2,000 others. The Nairobi slums, mud huts, dirty water, and sheer poverty. So how do you decide who's going to live where?
We have a waiting list, and we can't take them all. It's first come, first serve. I mean, and if the laboratory studies show that they're in a range that they need to have it, they're the ones who get it. We used to have 2 or 3 deaths a month, funerals right here, at the cemetery here. And now funeral is a very rare occasion.
23-year-old Dennis Nganye came to the program when he was 11. He is the oldest orphan here. By all accounts, he was not supposed to live this long.
Almost all of them are my friends.
Dennis came here with his twin brother in 1993, when AIDS was an automatic death sentence. While Dennis has never been sick enough to need the medicine, his brother wasn't so lucky.
My brother, I guess he didn't take it because at that time they weren't available in Kenya. And if they were, he would have survived.
He died 8 years ago. Why exactly is it so difficult to get children on the drugs they need to live? Well, a lot more adults than kids have HIV, so drug manufacturers don't make as much of the pediatric medicine because it's more expensive to produce.
ARVs are unique. You know, other medicines, drug companies will give you samples or supplies for a while, so on, but they won't give us samples or free supplies of the ARVs, because if they do, and the child thrives and lives, the minute they cut off the supply, the child will die.
For sure, the numbers are still staggering. Nearly 2 million children infected, 500,000 dying, most in sub-Saharan Africa. But for now, a small handful in the slums of Nairobi are surviving.
With the advent of the medication, you know, they're living to be teenagers, which we never expected them to. So it's very hopeful. They're hopeful.
That sort of brings a smile to your face.
Oh yeah, they're very, very hopeful.
Healthier and more hopeful. After many years, Father Dag is finally beginning to see the tide turn.
And really interesting, Carol. It's such a difficult decision every day, deciding between who's going to get into this orphanage and get the medicines and who is not. Impossible decisions, really. What struck me the most, though, when I was there, was that these medications really work. You give the medications, these ARV medications, to people with AIDS, and within a few days, they improve significantly. So people's lives are being saved. We found a story of hope out there, Carol.
Oh, and thank God for Father Dag. What a guy. That's awesome. Thank you, Sanjay. And we'll see you again later in the show.